run Ableton Live. I have all the songs split up into sections like verses and choruses and middle eights and all that. And then I have about 16 stems running. So it's various sort of arpeggiated keyboards, bass, kick, snare, hats, drums, percussion, a couple of little sort of vocal effects and stuff like that. And basically I kind of jam the arrangements with Howard from here on the push, so they're never the same twice. So if he wants to carry on doing another verse or break down, or we can totally break it down and filter everything down and bring it back up, and so it kind of stops it being just sort of like playback. This I use for additional drum samples and control. This I use for kind of manipulating of the audio, things like stutters and glitches and all that kind of thing. Sort of more interesting mangling stuff. And then my keyboard plays Howard's main stage rig over there, so I can kind of take over parts or play other things. And these are a new addition we've just added, just so that we had a so it was a little bit more like, people were like, there's no key synths on stage at all. We were like, so just controllers, so we'll have well, at least we've all got synths. But it's this rig has been developed over a long period of time. We sort of developed this over a period of about 7 or 8 years, and it's kind of just works bomb-proof now. So all the drum sounds, and then a lot of the keyboard sounds we've sampled up are from the original tracks. So it's, to try and make it as good as possible. We do the vocal harmonies on the Voice Live, triggered via MIDI, so Howard's vocal goes into it and it does all the harmonies. And then we also run clips in Ableton that trigger another computer which does all the visuals. So the visuals are chopped up in the same way as the track, so when we jam the arrangements, the visuals always follow the tracks.
Nice.
So we got this rig here, and then we got an identical rig in UK Europe.
What was your first synthesizer?
My first proper synthesizer was a Korg Delta. That was second-hand in a guitar shop. And I've still got it. Yeah, the only thing I've kept all these years. It's a weird synth. It's sort of like full, but it's not. It's sort of cross between a string synth and a synth. Sort of paraphonic. You can play all. There's no polyphony limits.
Yes.
But it's a bit of a limited architecture, but it's still got it's got a very good kind of sort of John Carpenter style, eerie string type vibe about it.
Do you have any white whales? Any the synth that got away?
Oh God, one of the things I regret selling.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There's a program in the UK called Life Laundry, and they go to people's houses or hoarders, and they put everything they own out in the middle of a field and go, this is everything you've got. I often think if I could pile up all the synths in the middle of the field I've had, it would be just a shock, because I've had so much stuff in my time. I did the whole Roland thing at one point. I had big racks full of two MKS 50s, MKS 70, MKS 80, MKS 30, all the programmers. I did all that kind of, 2 Roland S770 samplers. It was all that kind of hardware, and SH09, 101, 106, all that stuff. And then I went, we don't need to do that anymore, computers, get rid of everything. And did that for a while, and then went, oh no, it's like musical accounting. And then start buying stuff up again. So I've done it all. I've got my setup at home now, my studio is pretty compact, so I try and only keep instruments I know I'm going to use a lot. So I've got a kind of a Euro rack system about this big, which is full, so that's the end of it. And it's all meticulously refaced in like grayscale, and it's more of a kind of a processing Euro rack. I didn't want to just recreate analog synths, so there's lots of granular engines and all that kind of thing. And then I've got an OB6 desktop, P6 desktop, the DeepMind desktop, which I actually did some sounds for, a little Teenage Engineering OP1, which is one of my favourite things ever, a GR1 Teenage Riot, as they're called. It's like a new desktop granular sampler, which I've got. And then this year I treated myself to a Waldorf Quantum.
Nice.
So that's it for synths. You know, it's like, it's just, I hate it when you've got all loads of gear and you haven't got enough inputs, so you then have to like wire it up, and then by the time you've done that, you've lost the interest. So it's like everything's wired up, everything can work. I could go, you know, I can use it anytime, straight away, print it, move on, all that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I like instruments to be. So if I'm going to buy anything, it really has to be not just on a whim. You know, otherwise you just become like a sort of a collector of all this gear, and you don't know how to work all of it very well, just sort of a bit. I'd rather know how to work everything I've got well. You know, I think it's kind of, people get like that with software. They become like collectors. I've got to have the full set of 50 different compressors. 50, you know, it's like, when do you use them all? Never. Yeah.
What's this big green guy over here?
Oh, this plate here is like a sub plate I'm standing on. So I get the bass through my body.
Wow.
So I get, if you come and stand on it, so you feel it. Yeah, it's.
Great, I'll go. Oh wow. Seems like you get a full body massage.
I'll play for a second.
So this helps you get a feel of what's being.
Yeah, because your in-ears don't fill in the bass end. And because I do a lot of things like filtering up bass and stuff like that, I can't really hear it if it's just the in-ears. So that gives me the. Yeah, so that's just the amp for that.
And what company makes that?
They are called, is it Giles and Porter? I can't remember. Porter and Davis. They make drum ones.
Okay.
There used to be a company called Butt Kicker, which did them for drums, but they were a little bit slow because they were a little bit lower in frequency, so it was always a bit laggy. But this one's kind of really nice, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, people come, like Howard comes over sometimes and goes, oh, stands on it and then goes back to there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.